Alrighty folks, we have started step 2 of our quick little vacation here in Europe. Hopefully I will get you some shots where you get to guess what country we are in tomorrow. But yes, we just got on the Viking River cruise. First river cruise. We'll see how it's all about, let you know later in the week. But let's get into daily financial news because that is why you showed up for this video. We're going to talk about some earnings. And I think some earnings are starting to tell us about a significant slowdown. We'll talk about what the one and only Cathie Wood has to say. We'll revisit UBS and that and more. So first, let's get into the earnings because I think we are starting to see what is going on. Obviously, we've talked about Home Depot. We can talk about Walmart. We can talk about TJX. We can talk about Target. But we should start in technology. If you've been a follower of the channel for any length of time, you know there are 2 companies that I have mentioned repeatedly to see signs of a slowdown. One of them is Cisco or Cisco Systems. I have told you for about 6 quarters in a row, I watch Cisco because I want to understand what's going on with technology investment around the world. Now, let's get into the most recent numbers. They beat expectations top and bottom, but they gave a very weak forecast. Have we seen technology investment crack? If I'm right about Cisco, the answer to that question is yes. Second, we have talked about cybersecurity. Now, cybersecurity is something I spent the last 3 or so years, a part of my career in. I know it fairly well, and I've told you that Palo Alto Networks is the creme de la creme of cybersecurity. And I've highlighted over and over again, cybersecurity is the last thing to get cut. And folks, we've had some pretty significant hacking events in the last 30 to 45 days. And when cybersecurity is starting to show weak bookings, folks, we've got a problem. So I think there is a very significant sign of technology investment that is weaker than expected. Cisco Systems and Palo Alto Networks. Then we can flip the script. We can talk about Walmart. We can talk about TJX. First, Walmart. Walmart beat top line, beat bottom line, but their CFO said the last 2 weeks of October has seen a significant retrenchment or weakness in their consumers. Folks, it's happening. The slowdown is happening. If you flip that over from Walmart to TJX, what are we learning from TJX? It is good to be a discount store. Folks, TJX raised guidance for the 3rd time this year. I am thinking where TJX is strong, many other retailers will be weak. Folks, it really does feel like the consumer is weakening. And then finally, Burberry. Folks, if you don't know who Burberry is, they are a European brand, very, very high end, and they reported luxury spending is down. Stimulus ballers down. Consumers trading down in stack. It is happening right now. Let's flip over to Cathie Wood. Cathie Wood says that we are in for deflation. In fact, she predicts deflation is already underway in the United States. Let's get some definitions. We are hopefully by now familiar with inflation. It's where prices are rising. Deflation, where Cathie Wood is calling for and saying that we are in, deflation is negative numbers. What has actually happened to date, at least across most segments, is disinflation. Disinflation is something still increasing, but at a smaller number, right? Hence, CPI was 9.1. Now I think it was just 3.4. That's disinflation. Cathie Wood would be negative something, negative 0.1, negative 0.2. In fact, China had deflation last quarter. So again, Cathie Wood is calling for that. She is saying the Fed has overdone it. Let's not forget Cathie Wood's stocks are very, very tech oriented, very, very much non-profit generating. She's kind of on the outer edge of that. And lastly, Cathie Wood says there are some big big rate cuts coming. And again, remember earlier in the week, I think we talked about UBS having 12. Was it Morgan? No, UBS was 14, Morgan Stanley was 12, and Goldman Sachs was 7. My guess is Cathie Wood thinks there's at least 12 rate cuts coming. As far as rate cuts go, let's talk about UBS, right? UBS talked about 14 rate cuts. What are they really saying? First and foremost, this is from Jonathan Pingle. Jonathan Pingle is the U.S. chief economist for UBS. He is saying, we do not expect another GFC or global financial crisis after the recession. In fact, Jonathan Pingle expects the U.S. to have just a few negative quarters in 2024. I'm calling for Q1, Q2. He may be calling Q1, Q2, 3. Again, Jonathan Pingle is a shallow and short recession. That is where he's coming from. Remember Citigroup announcing a 10% layoff. The project was called Bora Bora. Really? Citigroup, you're gonna lay off 10% of the people with a fantastic location called Bora Bora? Not cool, not cool. But yes, it has started. Layoffs are starting at Citigroup. Back to earnings, one I forgot to talk about was Target. Beat top line, beat bottom line, but sales were down 12% year on year. So again, the Target CEO saying their shoppers are trading down. Let's talk about something that's very interesting. The Telegraph. The Telegraph is a UK-oriented newspaper magazine, something that I read from time to time because I want to know about what's going on in the UK economy, what is going on in the housing market, because again, I like to see what's going on around the world. The Telegraph is saying world central banks around the world will have to slash rates as fiscal bubbles burst. In essence, folks, our governments around the world have printed too much money and continue to print too much money, and their fiscal deficits are getting so large that they're going to have to slash rates just to make the interest payments. On a good news front, it looks like the government shutdown has been postponed until after the holidays. It appears, I don't think it's happened yet, but both the Senate and the House have sent to President Biden a form of a two-step continuing resolution, what they call a CR, where some will go to January, some will go to February. But yes, folks, the dreaded government shutdown, which was scheduled for Sunday, I believe, appears to be averted once again with a CR or continuing resolution. I do think there is one thing that's pretty interesting about the housing market today and millennials is you have often heard folks like Logan from Housing Wide or Lance from Resi Club, and you even heard me say on occasion that housing affordability is the worst in the last 40 years. If you've taken the time to read my 53-year spreadsheet, you know there was a time that was worse. That was the early 80s. It is actually very interesting to look at the timelines where baby boomers were aging into buying homes in the early 80s, where millennials are aging in today. And let's not get afraid. Again, the baby boomers own a lot of the wealth in the country, but let's realize their first-time home buying was in the early 80s, which was worse housing affordability than today. I know it's really hard to believe that the baby boomers had it worse, but if you were buying homes from 79 to 83, it was worse. It's just how the math works. So folks, at the end of the day, I do want to let you know that we only have 40 tickets left. I told you they would start selling fast as soon as we broke below 50. We are going to sell out this event, and in fact, this event might be sold out while we are on this lovely Viking cruise. Make sure you buy a ticket. Go get it today. It's only $199. 15 millionaires are coming to talk to you. You're going to get to ask questions. 2 days in Vegas, 20 hours of content, a concert, a celebration, networking with 250 folks. You are going to want to be there. And of course, if you want to get your money right, you want to understand where your spending is going, how to move forward, you can do that with my $99 course, or of course the How to Get Started One Rental at a Time for $399, which gets you in the Facebook group, and 2 free $50 bonuses. In fact, folks, for today only, If you want to buy the course and get the $99 one, I will give you that as an option because, hey, 2 times 50 is 100. If you just want to get your money right, I will make that option available. So again, this is a November special. I'm doing this while we are on the cruise ship. So folks, remember, I want to get some questions from you. What is something you would like to know or answer that I can riff on for about 8 minutes or so? I want to do some of those discussions as we take in the lovely countryside. Folks, take care of yourself. Have a wonderful day. Like, subscribe, comment, and feel free to leave a question below on something that I can answer. Bye-bye.